Welcome back to the Real with Joseph Lamtman, live edition, Sunday night edition. I hope you guys are having a good day. Had a good day today, rather. Happy Sunday evening to you guys. I wanted to come on tonight, do some sports. My man Mikey Antonace, might have a couple other people popping up in here. That's what we're doing tonight. And so I want to start off this show, though, dedicating a segment to my favorite player of all time, Joe Thomas. Anybody knows Joe Thomas, one of the greatest left tackles of all time. Played for the Cleveland Browns for multiple years on bad teams, never really made the playoffs, but was the most loyal guy. And the reason why I wore number 73 in football was because of Joe Thomas. A lot of people might not know that, but my favorite player of all time is Joe Thomas. I dedicated my playing days to him. That's why I wore 73. Every time I used to go to games, I'd always watch warm-ups. Back at those days, too, there wasn't really a whole lot of marquee guys to watch anyways on the Browns besides Joe Thomas blocking, Josh Cribbs returning punts, and Phil Dawson's leg. That was pretty much it. And so, but Joe Thomas represents everything an athlete should represent: class, loyalty, respect, character, everything. I mean, he's more. When people say more than an athlete, he's more than an athlete, and definitely somebody my dad showed me early on. I remember the day Joe Thomas got drafted. I was on the beach down in Clearwater, Florida, with my cousin Matt and Andrew, and they had it on the radio. We were listening to it, and I remember we drafted him, and then we took Brady Quinn. I think it was a couple back in the 20s, I think, in the late first, we took Brady Quinn. And so I remember that day as a little kid, and had his jersey. And like I said, so I want to bring my guys up here now to talk about Joe Thomas.
Yellow.
And we're going to get into some other things tonight, too. Mike, Dad, welcome back.
For having me.
Mike, I guess I'll start with you as a fellow Browns fan. What did Joe Thomas represent, or what did he mean to you? Is in the Hall of Fame now, and what he represented for the Browns franchise?
Well, he represented one of the very few points of Browns excellence we had for the better part of, I think his career spanned a little over a decade. It was like 12, 13 years. He was the highlight, which is great that he was a first ballot Hall of Famer and it recognizes one of the greatest left tackles of all time, one of the hardest positions to play in all of sports. Also, just a tad sad because our best player for the past 12 years was a left tackle. But seriously, represented loyalty. He was put up highlights, an absolute dog, just even when he retired his last year, he was still playing incredibly well at a high level. He probably could have played another 5-6 years if he really wanted to. But yeah, an absolute Cleveland legend and just another bust added to the long history of Cleveland Browns excellence, because there is a lot of Cleveland Browns excellence throughout history.
Oh yeah, and he's definitely in the tier one of that. And a lot of people, I think people forget too, is last year he could have won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning in Denver, but he chose to stay. And I thought that was kind of it speaks to who he is. Just the love for the city of Cleveland. And so the guy that got me hooked to Joe Thomas and showed me what who to follow as a young kid. Dad, what's your take on Joe Thomas getting the Hall of Fame?
Well, it's like I told you the other night. It's just an amazing how many guys get in the Hall of Fame in their 30s. This guy did it the right way. From the beginning. I mean, I remember watching that draft and just, I'm not a fan of all this showboating and all that shit. I get it. Guys like to go. You're going to be in the first round. You like to get up on that stage. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's a once in a generation. But he just, like you said, he did it the right way. It was about playing football. And when you talk about playing over 10,000 snaps, straight snaps, I don't know any other player that's ever did that. And I don't know if another player will do that. But I know this. How many you think he wasn't hurt like everyone else? That dude. I mean, you all know
Through a
what
season not hurt.
You're right. You know, we all what happens to O linemen, their legs, and the beatings they take. Every other player, every other player in his career sat out games.
Mm.
This dude got up injured. You know, he didn't really want to go out. He still went out. He still went out for his teammates. He still went out for the fans. So he just embodies what a professional athlete should be, but you know, also what the kid never came out of him. You watch him on TV; he's so youthful. His charisma. The guy, you just know the guy loved football. He had to just love football.
Mm.
You know, so I love the dude. I'd love to meet him one day, and I'm glad you wore his jersey. And actually, I just saw one at Dick's tonight. I was in line, and I'm gonna probably go back up and grab it for you, Mitchell and Ness. But the guy just awesome. I mean, that photo of him right there, that's just a man's man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he is. He's a man's man. You know, my belief is a man shouldn't be out there, you know, showboating and doing all this crazy shit a lot of these guys do.
Just he just showed up and did his job.
Ironically, the day of the draft, he was legitimately showboating. He was on a boat when he received his call.
Yeah,
right.
Just fishing.
Right. And
he was on a very nice boat and saltwater fishing.
Yeah. Right. You know, the thing that was great about that is absolutely he could have been at the draft in New York, but he wanted to be with his dad, doing what they always do on a boat fishing. You know what I mean?
I think too. My favorite moment with him is the 0-16 after they came off of before 0-16. That team though, when they went 1-15. Remember they won that game versus the Chargers on Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
he was in the locker room crying after the game, like just to finally just to win a game. Like he just tell it meant something to him. Like
yeah,
and you know, a lot of the other guys are kind of like, yeah, you know, whatever. That's kind of why that team was what they were, because they didn't have, you know, guys didn't really seem to take it as serious as him. And so, but yeah, just I thought that was my favorite moment. I never forget that when he was in there and you saw him crying, standing next to the owner and the coach, and just to win one game, you know, and he could have left easily.
Right. But the best thing about it is he belonged here. He belonged here in Cleveland, and that's why he hasn't left, because it was a perfect match for him. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you talk about everything he did, everything you just said, and what Mike said, what I just said, where else in the league would a player like that belong? Cleveland. Cleveland's the only spot they belong. He just represented Cleveland, so he's just I just love how he did it. I love how he you know, he could have kept playing. I just love the way he did it. The way he did it coming in, the way he played his career, and the way he went out in his 30s. He still got his whole life, raised his kids, and he's in the Hall of Fame in his 30s. It's just, man, I mean, because I'm 45 years old, and I still feel youthful in my mind. I don't feel any older than I did when I was 20. You know what I mean? So to go back 10 years, I just can't imagine go back 10 years and just be in the Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame already. And this guy's got his whole life ahead of him.
Right. And he's still very
done it the right way.
What's that, Mike?
I was just saying it's cool how he's still heavily involved in the organization.
Right. Absolutely. It's great. I mean, I would have loved they got another Super Bowl for Jim Brown. That's what I was really hoping. But gosh darn, I can't wait till they get one for Joe Thomas. You know what I mean? And hearing a lot of the other Browns players too in the past. I mean, Bernie and, you know, Hanford Dixon, all these guys that have never left Cleveland. But, you know, Joe Thomas playing over 10,000 snaps, could have easily went to Denver, won a championship. He didn't. So he deserves it.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool too how all the guys were there. Joe Hayden came back. He's back in the organization now. And just all the guys coming back, and they were all standing on the sideline the other night with the team at the Hall of Fame game. I thought that was cool. Like you're starting to see like a culture now that we haven't seen for a while, where guys are like really the alumni are coming in, they're standing like that's how it's supposed to be. That's what successful organizations do.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we've had a few. Now we have a few from this when they came as an expansion team. You know what I mean? I mean, Joe Hayden will get in the Hall of Fame. I don't know when. I told you the other night I think he probably would on his first ballot. I'm not saying he's. I'm only saying that based on the way they put players in now. But we've had some players now that are really good players. We didn't have that for a long time, so
No.
Seen it again.
Yeah. So I had to open up with Joe Thomas. Like I said, my favorite player of all time, meant a lot to me. So I had to come on here, give him his prop. Shout out to Joe Thomas for getting the Hall of Fame. Any last words, Mike?
I hope we win a Super Bowl this year in honor of Jim Brown and for Joe Thomas. That would be great. Year in memoriam of Jim Brown and Joe Thomas. Well, not in memoriam of Joe Thomas. He's still very alive. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. But all right. Well, we're going to move on now to the game that took place on Thursday night, the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah.
We wanted to come on soon and react to it, but we were a little busy. But who cares? We're back now, and here we are.
So talk about
three guys that stood out to me were Cedric Tillman. I think Cedric Tillman's going to be the starter by the end of the year. Cam Mitchell, the corner, I think stood out, the rookie. And I'm going to say DTR is pretty impressive. I'm not going to lie. He's pretty impressive. I like him as the backup. I think the other kid, what's Austin Watkins, Mike, the receiver?
Yeah, out of the USFL.
He's got a good shot. He has a good shot to make the roster.
I think he might, at least, and then they might try and stash him on the practice squad. It really depends on what happens with Goodwin. I'm so glad they caught it. That's such a scary thing, and I'm praying for Marquise and his family. Such a great guy. Couldn't have happened to such a terrible thing couldn't have happened to a better guy. So I'm glad that they caught it, that he's, getting healthy. But yeah, with him out, possibly for at least half the season, Austin Watkins has a real chance. And he has been showing up at camp. But for me,
I'll get into it. What was your reaction at the Hall of Fame game?
My reaction was, we'll get to your reaction, Schnooks. You wait.
I thought he said
Mike.
that.
Mike, you're cutting out.
Oh, am I cutting out? Can you hear me now?
You're cutting out a little bit, Mike.
Can you hear me now? Is this better? All right. So for me,
you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Am I still cutting out?
Go ahead.
Is this better?
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead,
making
Mike.
sure.
Sorry.
All right.
We're good.
Technology. No, it's all right. Technology. Yeah, for me, I'm going to go straight to the trenches. So who impressed me the most and what was my instant reaction to the Hall of Fame game was the Browns rookie class looks very, very impressive. Now, it might be a little bit of an overreact because, again, it is just the Hall of Fame game. But our rookies playing against their rookies, et cetera, it's still NFL caliber players. DeJuan Jones looked fantastic. Played the whole entire game and did not allow a single pressure. I know we were just talking about Joe Thomas playing. Here, I'll throw on some Joe Thomas clips, but I am not a man that will watch tackle play. Maybe I'll watch the guards play every now and then. Like I'll pay attention to the guards during a game if they lay out a nice pancake during run blocking. But I'm not paying attention to pass pro. You got to be a real connoisseur to pay attention to pass pro. But me, I was watching DeJuan Jones out there looking like just a titan of a human being, manhandling people who were first-round picks. He went up against Jermaine Johnson Jr., who was the Jets' first-round defensive end last year out of Florida State, and Will McDonald, who was their first-round pick this year, also a defensive end out of, I believe, Iowa State. And he didn't allow a single pressure. Not just not allowing a sack, not allowing a pressure. And it just looked like he was standing there. When he perfects his technique, I don't know what we're going to have. Maybe we have another Trent Williams type. Who knows? He was, I was amazed. Like, I'm really, really excited about this kid, and what a value in the 4th round.
He
If
looks like
this
a
continues.
first rounder.
He does. He really does.
Looks like a slam dunk, easy first rounder. Yeah, I mean, it looked so easy to. He didn't look like a rookie the other night. He looked like a. I know it was just a preseason game, but still, I mean, for your first game in the NFL, he did not look like a rookie at all. He looked like a 5-year vet, a couple Pro Bowls under his belt. He made it look easy.
Right. And a lot of that is going to be his size. There was another Cleveland Sports Talk guy who was talking about, like, he wants to see DeJuan Jones maybe go up against some, like, more veteran, crafty guys to see how it does. Because, yeah, DeJuan Jones' athleticism and size is going to take him a long way. That's why I'm saying I can't wait to see if he develops a technique. He could be all-pro Trent Williams type of player. Because I think Trent Williams is really the only player you can compare him to in just stature of size. And if he can get that technique down like Trent Williams, watch out. He might be one of the best tackles in the NFL. But also in the trenches, Luke Whippler, another Ohio State product, was absolutely pancaking people last night. Just making it look easy, looked the part, looked like centers generally aren't taken in the first round unless, like, your future gold jacket guy, like that Linderbaum kid coming out of Iowa was, I believe that was last year's draft. But, that he looked like a 2nd round center, like a starting caliber center in the NFL. And just absolutely looked the part, snapped the ball well, saw him calling out blitzes. Like, he really did look the part. I think he's going to take Nick Harris's job as the 2nd string. And, if all goes well and he continues to progress, Ethan Pochich, as much as I've liked his story of, like, his comeback story, if you will, from being, like, kind of an afterthought to becoming a top 5 center in the league, like, don't be surprised if, Luke Whippler takes that job here within the next couple of years and we can save some money. Also,
Maybe.
talk about the trenches. Maybe, yeah. Now it's time to talk about the trenches on the other side of the ball. I almost cried watching Siaki Ika play because I saw this man on a 3rd and 1 run take up a double team, get a push, and stop a run for a yard and force a 4th down in a punt. I almost cried. You know how long it's been since the Browns have had a defensive tackle that could actually do what they're supposed to? It made me so excited. I was like, oh my God. Oh, that's what's supposed to happen. They didn't break off a 20-yard run. It made me feel so good to watch that. I just, and that room still needs some work, but if Siaki Ika can not only, like, hold up a double team, but actually continuously get a push as a nose tackle, oh, thank God. That is a breath of fresh air, because my God, is that room just, like, putrid before, like, this year. We've improved it, but I think it still needs improvement. But yeah, I was paid attention to the trenches a lot.
Hold on, let me. Dad, what was your reaction to the whole thing game? I'm gonna sneak you in here real quick.
Yeah.
Well, the players. It's obvious the players that stood out was Tillman. I mean, that dude just looks like
a man's man.
A man's man. I mean, he just looks like a dude out there. Good grief. And then obviously DeJuan Jones. I'll sit there and watch tackle play. I just love blocking. Joseph knows that. That's probably my favorite part. It is my favorite part of football. And I just sat there and watched that dude snap after snap. And I don't care if it's a preseason game or not. You play a whole game, you got to be giving up pressure at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And he just looked like a freaking immovable mountain just sitting there. So, it's just it's amazing that a guy that size can move the way he moves, his footwork, and
he's an underrated athlete too. Played basketball. You saw his basketball highlights on the screen. That was damn.
And I'm excited that he's got a guy like Joe Thomas around the facility. You know what I mean? That can work
I'm
with
glad
him along with the
Bill
other players. Right. I mean, it's just makes you wonder, like, how good can this dude be? I mean, it's just. I've never seen a guy that big. I mean, what the hell did he say? What did he say? He's at Ohio State. He's wearing a 4X jersey.
He had the biggest jersey in all of football, college and pros included. He has the biggest jersey.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just amazing. He went fourth round. I don't understand why.
So apparently and me and Joseph talked about this too during our like post draft rumble, but so his whole thing was essentially during the Senior Bowl. He only showed up like for the first, not even the first like half, but like the first third of it. Looked great, like looked amazing, like completely smoked everybody he went up against, and pretty much was like, "All right, I'm done," kind of thing. And was just laissez-faire about it, and when he was getting interviewed, people were like, "Oh, this guy doesn't like football," and when coaches hear that, some people can get a little scared about like drafting that because they're like, well, I can coach technique. I can coach, certain things. I can't coach a love of the game. But from what I've seen, DeJuan Jones, he's very quiet. Like he's like a very kind of like quiet dude for his size and everything. And like he, at a certain point, it really doesn't matter to me if he loves football, if he's that good at it. Like he'll do his job.
Here, if he didn't love football, he wouldn't have stayed at Ohio State.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
I don't think people understand the gauntlet you go through in college, the training. If you don't love football, they would have ran your ass right out of that campus.
Right.
Whoever wrote that shit was...
Right. I agree with that. No, I was just saying I agree. But that's just what the story was, when it all went down.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Whoever put that out there is an absolute idiot. Like Joseph was saying, to sit there and play at Ohio, to be able to number one, to beat Ohio State, two, to be a starter as long as he did, play as many games as he played. He has to love football. I remember watching that guy bawling after a game. You know what I mean? He was out there crying when they lost. You know what I mean? So it's
and not only that.
Here, a lot of guys only take the Senior Bowl. I wouldn't take the Senior Bowl unless I'm a guy that's like, playing at a non-Power 5 school that's just trying to get drafted. Yeah. Then I'm gonna take the Senior Bowl serious. But this guy, he knew. I mean, what the hell? I can't imagine all these GMs and scouts put a ton of stock in the Senior Bowl. I mean, my God, how much video tape you got to watch on this guy at Ohio State? So I don't care what the hell they say. I can't believe the guy went in the fourth.
Yeah.
round.
Not only that,
I just think a lot of people.
State, if you can make it, I think a lot was probably maybe his weight. Maybe people were worried if he can cut.
People
it
are
down.
afraid of it. Yeah,
people are afraid of that. I think that was the biggest thing. But he the guy here, you can make it through an Ohio State mat drill in January, which is like the most horrible workout. Anybody knows, go look up the Ohio State mat drills. I think it's the part of their winter workouts, their last one. It is brutal. And so, but yeah, no, I think too, like you said, to get that guy in the fourth round, I mean, he can end up being the best player in this whole draft. Really? I mean, for us.
I agree. Like he looks the part, and I'm excited throughout this whole preseason because they're going to keep playing him. So I'm going to be excited to keep seeing him play. And he has Bill Callahan to learn from. He has a former All-Pro right tackle. Jack Conklin to learn from. He's got all the tools around him to not just be successful in the league, but become a star in the league. As far as offensive line groups and coaching staff goes, there's probably not a better place somebody like him could have landed than the Browns.
Yeah.
So same thing with Luke Whipple.
Well, then the other thing is he's got going for him. He's got a guy like Miles he can go against in practice.
Yeah.
They can move Miles over to that side, and
Darius Smith.
so yeah, I mean,
I gotta
looked
ask
good.
you guys,
Thoroughly, but it looked great.
what do you guys think though? I see a difference now. Like I was saying earlier, like the other night, there's just like a different attitude on the sideline now. You watch the team, even in the training camps. Like I loved at the end of the game the other night when they intercepted that ball and they got the flag thrown on them, and you just read Shorts on the side. You see Coach Shorts on the sideline.
Yeah,
You
he's
just
laughing. He's like, "Come on!"
bullshit.
And they were all laughing too.
But I like that. You see like an actual like swagger now, and he's been saying that word swagger. You just actually see like an actual swagger now on the team, which we've never seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you guys
that's how
think?
defense has to play.
But you can tell it's affecting the whole team. Like the whole team, the whole vibe of the team. Watching them in training camp, the press, everything just seems different.
Well, you're here. The team always takes on the temperament of the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like that, and what in the car business, salespeople take on the temperament of management. It's the same thing there. You could see the difference, and defensive players got to have that kind of swag. They got to play with an edge. They got to have attitude. They got to show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's why I don't mind the showboating, but you got to play like that. I mean, you got to be wanting to take people's heads off, and you know what I mean. And you got to be out there talking shit and being nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you should not be playing defense. So, yeah, I love seeing that on the sideline. I love it, but you knew it was coming when you watch here. I remember when he almost got in a fight with Jim Harbaugh after a game.
Oh yeah, he ran him down on the sideline. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, that's what you got to have. And then when you watch his press conference, I love this press conference. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely, that's where it all starts. Having the right attitude.
And not only that, I like the defense just looks a lot better already. They're just attacking more. They're just I think they did was it a shutout in the second half, Mike? I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah, shutout in the second half.
Smith had an interesting comment about that today. So they were asking him about the defense. And Zadarius Smith goes, my whole career I played on react then attack defenses. Jim Schwartz has the opposite where it's attack react.
Which is how it's supposed to be.
Right. And he said that he's going to be throwing 5 guys a lot. And with our defensive end room, you can move Miles inside or have him wide with somebody at his hip. Agba Conqueror's incredibly quick. But, yeah, Jim Schwartz is I think he's going to be a great thing that happened to the Cleveland defense, because that's definitely kind of one of the reasons why we lost a lot of games last year. So,
no, I agree, and you can just tell the culture shift with them already, and the whole organization is exactly what they needed.
Well, he's a guy that demands respect. He's a Super Bowl winning defensive coach.
But it's just injecting that attitude into the locker room.
Right.
To the whole building. That's what they needed. Somebody that's won a Super Bowl, knows what they're doing, old school in a way, sticks to his guns. But the players love him. They'll play for him, and you can trust him. He's not going to do. He's experienced. He's not going to do dumb decisions. That means he's always going to be perfect, but you can trust Jim Schwartz.
Right.
Well, you respect him. It's all about respect.
Yeah, which we haven't had. So it was a good thing to see the other night. I think too, Mike, what stood out to me is I think we were talking about earlier. I think a couple of these guys that maybe you didn't expect to maybe make the team, I think have a good shot. I think Austin Watkins has a good chance because I'm not sure if Schwartz is going to make it. So I think that slot might be open. I really like that. What is he? 6'3", runs a 4.5 out of the USFL.
Yeah.
And he ran a hell of a route there at the end of the game. He'll be gone.
Yeah, it was a hell of a little quick slant.
Yeah. Who do you think, Mike? Some of these fringe guys you think are going to end up making it?
Austin Watkins is. I talked about him a little bit earlier. Is definitely one of those guys to watch for sure. On the defensive side of the ball, he actually had the pick to end the game, but he's been impressing at camp a lot. Is Bubba Bolden?
Yeah,
it's kind of ironic because last year we had DeAnthony Bell shine, and he was an undrafted free agent. And now you have kind of the same thing of this, like, flyer you had Bubba Bolden kind of showing up in camp, making plays in the preseason. So he's another interesting name to watch. He's very much more of like a box safety. And I
Yeah,
think,
he was. He
Yeah,
played in Miami.
cornerback in there putting in that block. You see
That's
that?
Dor. That's
I know.
Thompson Robinson.
All right, gosh, darn, I love this cat.
Yeah, he
yeah, he'll
was
be a
exciting
big,
to watch.
good friend of Deshaun. Deshaun actually, picked him out. Basically, they asked him like, "Who do you want as a backup long term?" He's like, I'd love to have Dorian on the team. So,
I like him. If he ever has to come in for a couple snaps, I'm pretty comfortable with him.
Yeah, they should. I mean, watching that, I mean, they had to run that shit. They want to switch to Wildcat a little. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah, because he can run. He can fly. I mean,
Deshaun can run as well. So
yeah, but he's your freaking $50 million a year guy. You don't want to do that.
no.
I mean, he's gonna he's gonna break the pocket and like break off for 10, 15 yards. It's just gonna happen naturally.
Well, yeah, but he's never going to be. You don't want to see him laying on the getting hit ever, which is rarely going to happen. But back to your saying, I do like the kid Bubba. What was his name? Bubba
Bolden.
Bubba Bolden. He's from Miami, and I looked into him too. I liked him. I like his potential. I like his size. I like the whole defense, to be honest with you, Mike. I mean, what do you think of the linebacker room? Any of those guys stood out to you the other night?
So two guys that had a pretty good showing. Tony Fields, who's flashed a little bit in the regular season last year. Had a good showing at the preseason. So maybe he's one of those just late bloomer players that's going to continuously come around. And maybe with Schwartz's coaching, he actually turns into kind of a guy you can throw in at Sam every now and then. I don't think we're going to be running a ton of 3 linebacker sets, but another guy that stood out, and Jim Schwartz has already touted how much he loves this kid, is last year. I don't even know if he was a 7th round pick or if he was a UDFA, but Jordan Kunicic. I probably said that last name wrong, but Jordan Kunicic, number 51, has been just showing up at camp, showing up in the preseason. He plays Mike, and he's really good at just like run stuffing linebacker. Super smart kid, from what Jim Schwartz has been saying. Can read the defense really, really well. Not the fastest guy, but he's tall. He's got long arms. He could be good in coverage, and he could be really good in like rundowns. And you might see a little bit more of him because even though they've been in camp, I don't know how healthy Anthony Walker or Sione Takitaki actually are.
But Jordan's still recovering a little bit. That's a lingering, but he's getting back to 100% still. I heard that's a Mary Kay said.
Right. I heard the same thing out of Sione. So, but with Jordan Kunicic, he's looked good too. And I don't think the scheme that we're going to be running really demands a lot out of the linebackers. I
think it's linebacker friendly.
It's very linebacker friendly because we're going to be running a lot of 3 safety sets. We're going to be running a lot more nickel. I mean, why wouldn't you? And when we do run nickel, it's again probably going to be a 3 safety set. I wouldn't be surprised if we run into the season with 4 safeties because you got Juan, you got Grant, you got Rodney, and then I think for that 4th spot, it's going to be a battle between Bubba Bolden, DeAnthony Bell, who I still really like, but just matters who, because Juan and Rodney, you could throw Rodney out there at free safety, he could survive for a play or 2. But you really need like a backup for Grant in that tackling box safety, acting like another linebacker. So, I like the linebackers. I like our room. I think it's a little underrated. But again, I don't think it's like the biggest need. Like I'm not a person that really thinks linebackers is a super important spot. Like it's one of those things where it's like, well, look at the Ravens. Does Roquan Smith really make the Ravens like that much better? Like
I think so. I think every level you need somebody to make a difference. I think a linebacker, you got to be able to cover sideline to sideline nowadays. And he's the captain of the defense. He's calling out the plays. He's make sure everybody's in the right play. It's very important. But I think a guy like Anthony Walker can get the job done because he's a veteran. And you got JOK out there with his skill set. So, But I think
Right.
they'll be fine. But I think looking forward though to Friday. They play the Commanders.
Yes, they
Um,
do.
I think hopefully maybe Deshaun plays a couple series or whatever. But I'm just looking forward to seeing more of these young guys pop and you know really Cedric. I want to watch Cedric Tillman get more touches. I want to see him, and I want to see whoever these guys. I want to see more from Siaki Ika too. Just watch him continue to get more reps.
Same. And I really hope, I know they're going to, but I really hope they don't throw Kellen Mond out there for a long time. God, it's rough watching.
I don't know, but yeah, why is he starting over DTR?
Well, no, it's not about that. Like, it's like last year we had, what's the fucking thing? That's Josh.
Dobbs.
No, the other Josh. He was the Cardinals' first round pick. Why am I blanking on this?
Oh,
Rosen.
Rosen, thank you.
God.
Yeah, he was just a camp arm, you know. Like we're probably gonna have 3 quarterbacks, and you know we had 3 quarterbacks technically last year. We're gonna have 3 quarterbacks this year. A lot of teams that do more like that switch to like a pass heavy offense do keep 3 quarterbacks, and that's gonna be obviously Deshaun, Josh Dobbs, and DTR. So Kellen Mond's just that camp arm, you know. He's just that thrown out there to see if he can, you know, find a spot somewhere else kind of thing. That's all it is. That's why they're having him start. DTR, you know, they want to protect him. That's why they're only playing a half because he, at the end of the day, is still a draft pick. You know, you have more stake in that than you do Kellen Mond.
We were watching the first half the other day. My dad was like, "Who's this Kellen Mond guy?" Right, Dad?
Yeah,
Exactly.
He was a 3rd round pick from the Vikings, and people thought that he was a sleeper pick. And
He's
then
got a big arm. He's got a big arm, but he just doesn't really read. He can't read.
Yeah,
defenses.
exactly. Can't read shit.
I think he worked in Wash Bay at the dealership I was at before I was at my current destination.
Yeah, Mike, he was at Wash Bay.
No, but I hope we see, if not Deshaun, I hope we see Josh Dobbs get thrown out there. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of Josh Dobbs on the Commanders game. I really don't know what their plan is to play Deshaun. They've been really aloof about it. I expect we'll see him at some point, but I do know Kevin Stefanski has basically said that he sees the joint practice with the Eagles as like the de facto, like,
which is what I said, because that's
play the starters versus starters. And like that's what teams are doing now. It makes sense. You don't want to throw your, you know, starters out there and have someone get hurt. That sucks. That sucks for everybody. So I don't really have a problem if Deshaun only plays a play.
I think he should play I think he should play at least 3 series.
Yeah, I mean, either way,
one series a game, I think he'd be fine.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, though, like if they decide not to, it's not the end of the world. I don't, you know, if he looks good in the joint practice and everything's fine, then whatever. But like, I'm not the biggest fan of playing starters like in preseason, especially how like the NFL has evolved. Like, I don't like it. Like, especially when, you know, so much hinges on your quarterback anymore. Like, as soon as like the fucking 6th round pick out of San Diego State starts to like close in on Deshaun, I'm gonna have a heart attack. So I don't want it.
Yeah, Dad, what are you looking forward to the rest of the preseason? Just watching DeJuan Jones?
Watching DeJuan Jones and watching that Tillman guy. You know, it's I mean, it's
the writing's on the wall for Peoples Jones.
It's preseason. I mean, it's almost intolerable to watch, but it is fun to watch these rookies and these young guys. And so, I mean, I'm not really watching the football. I'm not watching the ball go down the field because the points are meaningless. But it is fun to sit there and watch certain players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You watch it in a different way, which is why I like preseason, because you're exactly what you said, Schnooks. You don't you don't really care about the score. You want to just watch, you know, how are the rookies doing? How are those fringe guys doing? And I love it because, you know, you get these kids who have been, you know, like Bubba Bolden, you know, undrafted free agent from last year, picked up by the Seahawks, thrown on the practice squad, floated around the NFL, And now he's out there making a play, getting the pick to end the game, win it for the Browns in the Hall of Fame game, first one we've been in like 2 decades. I just love that. It's like the perfect Cinderella story. They're trying to earn a spot in the NFL, achieve their dreams. That's why I love the preseason. Like, you got to look at the bigger picture with the preseason in mind. And that's why I've always.
Yeah, it's cool to see guys make the team at the final cut. It's just awesome. That's why I love that. I always tell Joseph, and I probably said it on here, my favorite sporting event is the NFL draft. I love the NFL draft more than any other thing in sports, and it's just because achieving the dream. It's just finally getting there, and just to see these guys do it, it's just I love it, man. It's just all that hard work, all those years, all those dreams, always being told you're not going to get there. Probably a lot of times believing they're not going to get there, and just to finally get there, and to be getting paid millions of dollars at the same time. You know what I mean? And be able to change, and receive generational wealth, and be able to just change the lives, at least financially, of all the people around you, all the people that you love. I mean,
a lot of these kids come from nothing.
Exactly, most of them, and there's no other sport. There's no other sport that's like that. It's just something different about football. I think we all agree on that. I know Joseph has had a lot of talks on it about it. It's just the combat, and it's like it's a combat sport, and it's like the brotherhood that develops in football. So,
well, it's like I said too. I didn't get to play high school sports obviously or fully for 4 years because of what happened to me, but nothing I would have did would ever compared to that medal right there with that team.
Yeah,
and the experience we went through in football to win a national championship that year. I mean, that was ask anybody on that team, anybody that saw us from all over the place, all across the country, really. I mean that whole year, when you experience football at a level like that, it just gives you a whole different outlook on it.
It is the only sport that it doesn't take one player to change everything. It doesn't take 2. It doesn't take 10. You need all 52 to be working like a well-oiled machine and be so cohesive to achieve greatness. And I think that's really what makes football special. Like you were saying, Schnooks, the brotherhood that forms over it. It's just something beautiful about American football that you really don't find in any other sport. And I'm just so glad that the season, we're in preseason now, but I'm just so glad that it's back in some way. You get to watch training camp, you get to watch preseason. After next week, we're less than 30 days away from opening day from Browns Bengals.
Any football, I mean, it's just awesome. High school football. My whole weekend's not going to be. I'm going to, obviously, Julia's going to Hoban, so now we have an interest again in Hoban football. Be at Hoban football games. Then I've got Ohio State. And I got the Browns. I mean, it's just every weekend's a football weekend. So,
yeah, and Ohio State started this week too with their camp, and that's a whole other discussion. Devin Brown will be the starting quarterback at some point, in my opinion. Let's just go throw that out.
Who's that kid that they just got that, like, everybody was like, oh, wow, he went to Ohio State, the QB. Is it Air Noland? Is that the name?
Air Noland. Yeah, he's a high schooler still.
Oh, but he already committed to Ohio State.
Yeah, he committed. He's a 2025 commit.
That is insane.
But they got this kid. There's a quarterback battle right now with Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. And a lot of people thought McCord was just going to automatically get the job because he's been here for like 3 years now. But I think Devin Brown is probably better and will be the guy.
Yeah, whoever's better.
He may not win. He may not. Even if he doesn't start week 1, he will be the starter eventually. He's just too good to leave on the side. This guy has first round talent, leadership, charisma. I mean, go listen to his press conference the other day. You'll be like, yeah, I want this guy to be a starting quarterback. Extremely athletic too. He does a backflip in full pads.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
All I know is if we lose to Michigan again, I'm going to personally slash Ryan Day's tires. You heard it here first.
I don't think they're going to lose this year. I think Marvin Harrison's going to be the best player in the world this year, and that's going to be. If they get the quarterback right, if Devin Brown plays, they could beat anybody.
Yeah, I'd love to see Tui Tuimulau take. Oh, I said the name without messing it up. Yes.
He's been cooking in camp.
Yeah, I hope he continues to shine because I think that kid. Everything I watch from him, he looks like a first-round talent. He looks like the prototypical defensive end coming out of Ohio State, can just like dominate, power rush. He's got the bend.
He's been cooking in camp. The whole defense looks better. I think him, Sonny Styles, they got the safety now. He's like the hybrid safety linebacker, Sonny Styles. They got another guy who transferred in from Ole Miss, or no, from Syracuse and Ole Miss, I believe. Yeah, they got 2 secondary transfers coming in. So they're pretty stout on defense this year. I think it's all about the quarterback.
In January, they were the best team. They had evolved into the best team in football. It's just they lost Marvin Harrison in that game. If they didn't lose Marvin Harrison, they're national champions.
You imagine they had Smith
the kicker forgot how to do his job.
Yeah, they were a kick away.
But we wouldn't have needed a kicker if Harrison went. I mean, they were pulling away. So, so if Devin Brown can come in and be that effective, but then you got a guy like Harrison. He's a year better, and all the other receivers are a year better. They're tailbacks. Yeah, you lose DeJuan Jones, but they got so many guys in the stable on the O line.
And they lost Johnson.
What's his name? What's the tight end, bud? Number 5 got
Cade.
Cade. I mean, he's bad. I mean, it's just
they got a tight end who's a true freshman. I don't know. He's going to play. You're going to see him play this year. But I was listening to Zach Smith the other day on Menace to Sports talking about. I can only pull up his name. He's a redshirt tight end. He just came in. Let me find him. Oh, Jelani Thurman. He's 6'6", 253 pounds, and a freak athlete. They said this kid in 2 years is going to be the best tight end in the whole world. His name's Jelani Thurman, and you're going to see him play this year.
Better than Brock Bowers?
They said he's the next Brock Bowers and more athletic.
That's insane. I hope
you're going to see him play. He's going to play a little bit this year. He's a true freshman. But yeah, 6'6", 253. And this kid is an absolute animal. And like he the way he runs for his size is unbelievable. He's an absolute freak of nature. And so that's another guy to watch this year. Any of the freshmen to watch, keep an eye on that guy. But go ahead, Mike.
Oh no. Go ahead. Finish your point.
No, I was gonna say I think if as long as Ryan Day gets the quarterback thing right, I think they should win it all this year because they're due to win one with all this talent they got coming in. And plus, it's wide open this year. I mean, I think it's hard to go back to 3-peat, number one. I just don't know if Georgia's going to do quarterback this year. Now the Notre Dame game is going to be tough because they got probably the 3rd best quarterback in the country. And he's a transfer. I can't remember his name, but he's really good. So the Notre Dame game's gonna be tough. They got to get through that one in the first quarter of the season.
It's all gonna come down to Devin Brown. If Devin Brown can come in and be effective,
but this kid's competitive as hell too. Like if he can come in and be
if that guy can if he doesn't come in and look like a first-year quarterback, defenses are gonna be screwed because look what Marvin Harrison was doing to Georgia. You know what I mean? So,
and you got one more
Marvin Harrison can basically tie up an entire defense, an entire secondary.
And Abuka's got one more year too. That's probably the best duo in the country. Him and Emeka. He's got another year.
Right.
You still got Julian Fleming still on the team, but I think the guy too that should get a lot more play this year. I think it's the next they haven't really had since Devin Brown is Jalen Ballard from the same school. The deep threat. He ran like 24 miles per hour in high school at Massillon. Like he needs to be on the field running.
Hopefully, Travion Henderson's healthy. And a lot of people forgot about that.
Back. Well, you got him. You got Evan Pryor's gonna be healthy. You got Mai Williams still. Hell, you even got Chip Trainum from Hoban,
right?
Who I think could be a running back easily. And he's a linebacker, but I think he could be a starter easily.
But remember how good Henderson was his first year. Just last year, he was just injured. If he's healthy in his junior year, That dude was one of the best running backs I'd seen in a long time.
Probably
So,
since the
yeah.
explosion. Yeah, it's explosion. But
So
I agree. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. But before we get out of here, though, I gotta the big story in sports today occurred at now it wasn't even the Jake Paul Nate Diaz fight last night, which they're gonna do an MMA fight too down the road. That's gonna be interesting. But I think Nate's gonna win that pretty easily. But last night at Progressive Field, there was another fight. They had UFC a boxing match at Progressive Field last night. Very excited. If you were at Progressive Field last night, you got to witness. Well, I've got. Well, hell, speaking of our team, we witnessed a couple of incidents like this before in our games and other games we saw. That's a whole other story. But I'm just gonna play the video real quick. Tom Hamilton's gonna break it down for you guys, and we'll see what these guys think here in a second. Hold on.
Here it comes. A swing and a smash to first by the diving Vaughn. Down the right field line. Kicks into the corner. Ramirez on his way to second. Head first slide. Safe and in to score is Jimenez. And another hustle double. Right over the bag at first. Now Jose and Anderson square off. They're fighting. They're swinging. Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson. Ramirez went in with a head-first slide. Jose never gets upset about anything. They came up chewing. Anderson squared off. Jose decked him. It's a 5-1 Chicago lead, but everybody from the dugouts and the bullpens congregated around second base. You never see Jose Ramirez get upset like that. And Tim Anderson was on the wrong side of that punch.
So, yeah. Mike, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to get an actual better video, too, of the actual hook that he threw on Tim Anderson. But, Mike, what did you think of the fight that occurred last night at the boxing match that occurred last night at the game?
Most exciting thing about the Guardians season this year.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Because they were losing. They were getting. Yeah.
It's the only footage I've seen of a game in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, last year was fun.
Oh, dude, we haven't had a baseball team. Don't get me started on that shit, dude. Don't get me started on that, dude. We have not had a team since. I mean, how the hell you move the Indians out of Cleveland? Or take the team away, the name away. It's ridiculous. So I know it's not the players' fault. I just can't get. I can't get past it.
What did you think of the fight here? Here's the better. Here's a better footage right here.
Now Jose and Anderson square off. Now Jose and Anderson square off. They're fighting. They're swinging.
Man.
Down goes.
Damn.
Good for Tom Hamilton for calling it like that.
Right.
Absolutely OG. That's probably the best call I've ever heard in a baseball game. That is amazing that he just went right into it.
Look at him square.
Yeah, down goes Anderson, he says, like it's a goddamn boxing match. And what an amazing call. I can't believe that happened. It's amazing. I think the fight happened.
Look at this right here. Here, Mike, you commentate it, Mike. Go ahead.
All right, so
we're squaring up.
Okay, so as you can see, Tim Anderson squares up first, throws the first punch, misses completely. One freaking hit from Jose, absolute haymaker, gets slept. So here's the thing about that. Jose Ramirez, like Tommy said, does not get upset about anything. Tim Anderson, he's a subpar second baseman. Gets absolute freaking slept. Oh, here's a good angle. This is a great angle of it. Just watch. Bam! And if you watch after the fact, he's having trouble walking. Just absolutely gets jawed. Yeah, Jose Ramirez is from the Dominican Republic. He grew up in the streets. Don't mess with him. Absolute freaking OG. I love him so much. Most exciting thing that's happened this season. It has been an absolute wash of a season. And we have such a bad division that even though we're basically 500, which is, by the way, is awful in baseball for those of you who don't watch, we're still like 2 games out of first place. So I guess there's that, even though our ownership hates us. And, we have like our best player is like 16 years old and playing somewhere in like Guadalajara. I just don't know. I can't stand how our baseball team operates. I really don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm getting upset. I'm going to go on a separate rant. I'm going to go on a quick separate rant. Here it is. Hey, all of you people out there, quit hating on Jedrick Willis Jr., all right? He's okay. He's not the best goddamn left tackle in the world. He's average, and that's okay. He's the 15th best left tackle in the league. He's better than the other 16 or whatever the fuck. I'm not good at math right now. I'm 3 beers deep. Quit hating on him. He's not going to be Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas is a Hall of Famer. He's got big shoes to fill. He's not going to fill them. Nobody's going to fill them. Quit hating on Jed Willis. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of all these people on Twitter being like, hey, look, Jed Willis' body language sucks. Of course he sucks, because you keep fucking saying that he sucks on Twitter. And this dude just got drafted out of Alabama to protect Baker Mayfield. He's protected like 6 quarterbacks since then. I'm so sick of it. Get off his shit. He's not that bad. All right? Goddamn. Yes, he sucks at run blocking. He's never going to fix it. He's such a skinny little guy. But he's okay in pass pro. Quit hating on Jedrick Willis. I'm so sick of it. All of you are guilty. I'm guilty.
He's a
okay, though. He's a great kid.
Great kid. He's a good kid.
Well, I mean, you heard it there from Michael K. Cabot on his. What the hell? Yeah, I don't know. But
he's a great kid.
He's a great kid. That's how you end it. I'm sick of all you motherfucker, but then he ends it. He's a great kid.
Yeah.
But Dad, what was your take on the Jose Ramirez fight?
I want to see Jake Paul fight Jose Ramirez.
That was people were saying today. We need to line that up next.
Because that fight was just straight trash. I told you it's all rigged. You know what I mean? If Jake Paul loses last night, there's no more pay-per-view being sold on Jake Paul.
He's doing MMA now against Nate Diaz, which he's not going to win.
But it still won't be here. If let's just say in 2 months or 3 months he got an octagon, he'd get destroyed. But
he's going to do it. He's getting the octagon with Diaz.
I know, but they're not going to fight. They're not. I hate that. I'm going to sound like a kid, but they're not going to fight for real. Last night they didn't fight for real. They're not going to fight. He'd get killed.
I know.
He'd get killed. You think he's going to take those leg shots, those leg kicks? He can't even take that.
Guillotine too. He can't handle that.
Right. He's not going to get submitted. I mean, Diaz submitted McGregor. I mean, how many people has he submitted? He'd get submitted in a second. So it's
I agree, but he's gonna for $10 million. He's gonna get.
I know. I'm just saying it's not going to be a real fight. It's just that's my problem with ordering the shit. So
now
they got to keep Jake Paul relevant. But now, Conor McGregor was talking trash last night, and they asked Jake Paul about it. He doesn't seem to want any part of McGregor because McGregor will get in there, and you can't predict what McGregor's going to do. You know what I mean?
There's one guy too that can box. It's McGregor because he boxed the best in the world in his prime at the time, and I think that's a guy you probably don't want to. And plus, he's massive now.
Yeah,
he would. Yeah.
But he might get in there and just go berserk. Like he won't follow the script.
No, he wouldn't. And I don't know how you can do a UFC match with Diaz. There's no script for him. All he knows is one way. That's what he did for 20 years.
Yeah, but it's his
match too. It's his match. It's his territory. Like he's the one running it. He's not a script guy.
Yeah, I know, but now he could be. He wasn't in the UFC, but now he is.
I don't think that would be a. You can't. I don't see that. I think that's a one way. It's just here. It's probably gonna end in one round, but for $10 million, here Jake Paul's thinking $10 million. I'll get choked out first round. Why not?
Well, yeah. Well, that should be what happens. It should be within a minute.
That's
a minute or two that he's submitted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's probably what's going to happen. But I think, yeah, the fights we watched the week before though were really good. Shout out to Justin Gaethje. But yeah, but so you want to see Jose Ramirez for Jake Paul? That was your take from last night.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell? I mean, that was better. It was a bigger fight than the Diaz fight. So yeah, I'd pay for that.
All right. He's all about it, Mike. He's all about it.
About it.
Mike's still recovering from his rant.
My throat's ruined after that.
What an idiot that Tim Anderson is, though, man, to square up like that. I'm gonna pick on this little guy. I'm gonna pick on this little guy. Square up like that, just get knocked the hell out.
Yeah, he thought he was going to show him.
He's been
Right.
deleting tweets for the past 24 hours.
Yeah, I saw. He was tweeting all kinds of stuff because he got embarrassed. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. Again, most exciting thing to come out of the Guardian season. So yeah, go Guards, whatever.
yeah, because
I
we're
don't
used to usually at the ballpark this year. It's I haven't watched really any games, but
The beers are too expensive to go to Guardian games. You gotta at least
Actually-
$5 beers.
Actually, you're wrong.
Been a lot of this right
One of your ex-coworkers went to the game Friday night and ate 6 hot dogs and had 13 cores. And he paid he paid a total of $32 for all of it.
Absolute MVP. What? $32 for 13
$32
courses?
for six hot
It's
dogs.
cheaper than a goddamn dive bar. You're lying. I can't believe this. Whoever told you that?
13 cores.
And
I'm not saying you're lying.
And
Whoever told
Mike,
you that?
Mike, you know what he had on the way back?
T-Bell.
He had some T-Bell. He said he had
I'm
talked.
gonna have to ask Jeremy about this.
It was not.
It wasn't Jeremy.
It was not Jeremy.
Oh, wasn't?
No.
Was it Clay?
Was it Clay? No.
No.
Oh,
Clay was
okay.
there last night, but he wasn't there Friday night.
Yeah, Clay.
That wasn't Clay. Who can take down 13 beers?
And 6
that's
hot dogs.
Who has a strong mind, Mike? Who has the strongest mind there?
Strongest mind.
He went through some shit.
Went through some shit. Damn. Why am I not thinking of it? I can't think of it. Who was it? Just tell me.
Ben.
Oh, it's Ben. Yeah.
Ben took down 6 hot dogs, 13 cores, and then hit T-Bell on the way home. And it came into work yesterday morning like it didn't even phase you.
I think him having that 14 cores is probably why he thinks he only spent $32. I don't believe.
No, because it was $1 hot dogs and $2 cores.
All right, it was the deal. You took advantage of the deal.
Yeah.
The deal, so good.
Deals, Mike.
Right?
Deal skis.
Corey said.
I mean, hell, if I drank, I would have been up there. I can get cores
Wow.
for $2.
Corey, get your ass up here and react to this fight, real quick.
Wild. Wild.
Wild.
Hey Corey, how are the Falcons doing? How's their
Yeah,
training
Mike-
camp going?
yeah,
I don't
Give
get
us,
why.
Wild.
come give us a report for 5 minutes, Corey. We'll get out of here. Come give us a report. We need a fact.
Yeah, the Falcons are like the hidden city of Atlantis. They're just the team everybody forgets exists. You know,
Wild.
the hidden city of Atlantis, the football team.
Right.
Trash.
Trash.
Oh, you poor sweet. So sorry.
Trash.
Trash.
Go give us a report, Corey. We need a report from you. But well, that's the report. Trash.
Trash.
Trash. Anybody knows Corey's a one-liner? Just one word.
Wild.
Wild.
Trash, wild, money.
Trash.
All right, gentlemen.
But yeah, Mike, you got another rant for us on the way out here? You got anything else you want to get off your chest, buddy? I know you had. We can't get into it. I know you had a long day today. But
Yeah. I'll save it for the next one.
yeah, we'll save it. I'll say this: I was on the phone with Mike today while he was at work, and something just crazy happened on the phone. Really crazy, where he had to be like, he was. And the turns, I'm sitting there talking to him. All of a sudden, I just hear, "Oh shit! I'll call you back," and just hung up on me. But
It was a rough one at the old job today.
yeah, it was. You guys don't you want to get off your chest, Mike? Anybody else pissing you off out there?
Nope. we'll see after the Browns casuals, overreact to the next preseason game. I'll probably have more, but nope. I just wanted to do that Jed Wells rant. I felt like that was a fucking important. So.
All right. Dad, you got anything you want to say on the way out of here?
Everybody have a good week.
Have a great week. You all are great kids, and send your fan mail to P.O. Box 555-555-555, Los Angeles, California, zip code 32071, and we will be more than happy to open it.
He said, deals.
Oh yeah, deals.
Yep.
I want deals.
Yeah, get some deals, Corey. We need some deals this week, bro.
Everybody's out there watching. Come see me.
You ever hear Corey talk and you think he's an android?
No. But I'm doing crazy deals. I'm putting all the money in the trades. I'm giving away cars. Come see me. I get rid of these 2023s.
How do you do with bank?
Fred Martin Nissan, 3388 South Arlington Road.
They do great with bankruptcy funds. Yes. I'm about to learn today.
Mike, anything else? So you got everything off your chest, Mike? You good?
Go Browns.
That's it. Go Browns.
Go Browns.
All right. Well, that's it. Get in with the Go Browns. But all right, you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Mike, you can get on camera and salute off. We'll all salute off together. Come on, Mike. Get on camera for 1 second. Go ahead. We'll see you guys next one. We're out of here. Go ahead, Mike. We're out. Go.